So, hello everybody, how are you? So, I thought I would do a channel update for May. I know May has already started. This is going to serve a few purposes for me. One, it's going to test out all my cameras, my internet, my setup. Hopefully, if there's anything that I haven't done properly, I'm going to find out tonight rather than when I start filming things. I also want to give you a little bit of an update on the desk. I'm rather proud of what I've done so far. It's been really, really hard work. Sorry, bear with me. Sorry, before I go much further, I'm just going to warn you that I may drink cups of coffee, I may smoke cigarettes, I may eat things while I'm streaming, I may pick my nose or anything else. If that upsets you, I'm really, really sorry. I've been working quite hard. I've had a bit of extra time off. Don't want to go into too much. But yeah, I've had a little bit of time off. I'm going to be a holiday tourist type person. I'm going to show you a slideshow. I'm going to go through my videos, what I plan for them, what I've been doing, what I'm up to. Just bear with me one sec. Echo, heat off. Sorry, it got a bit cold and I put the heating on, and now the heating's been on for a while. It's getting a bit warm, but I'll come to the echo bit later on. So before we begin, big thank you to Smith's Beads, who says hello. And then they say, hope you're going to share your biscuits. I'll always share my biscuits with you. Right, so before I go much further, you may notice I've got some drawers here. This is a dry run. This isn't set down final. This is a sponsored video. Well, I say sponsored, I mention their name a lot. These drawers are provided by EMBA Hobbies, and they make some absolutely lovely drawers. They make custom drawers if you don't want the standard ones. There are other companies that make these type of drawers. The reason I've gone for these drawers is because they're a little bit more customizable. As you'll see from this one, slap a bit of paint on them and then they're unique. So they don't look like everybody else's. I will be honest with you, they do look, they're made of MDF, and the appearance of MDF on its own it's nice. It's a nice smooth brown. It's quite plain. But that just means you can do so much more with them. So we've got David Martin's just popped in. Good evening, Penny. How are you doing? I'm absolutely wonderful. Right. So before I the next thing I want to just go on about is I'm going to show you this. I bought this quite literally just before the stream started. As you can see, my chair goes all over the place because I've got a laminated floor, and people have been on at me, get yourself a rug. So let me show you what I've just bought just this minute. Absolutely chuffed with it. I think it's really cheap, and it's coming tomorrow, which incidentally is my birthday. So I have just bought a fluffy shag area rugs. It says 150 by 240, but I've gone for the 120 by 180, and it's going to be here tomorrow. So and you see that it says free delivery Saturday, May 14th. I just quite literally, we have now, I got in there just, as you see, you get, if you order within this time, you get it by a certain day. I literally got in there with about 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes to go. So as you can see, it's arriving tomorrow. So yeah, so tomorrow I'll have a rug. So that's one area that was going to be fixed, because it is a little bit awkward when all of a sudden I go, oh, and I can't grab myself, grab anything. Smith Speed says happy 39th-ish birthday for tomorrow. Thank you very much. I'm going to put this out there. My neighbors, as you know, I absolutely love Wickham Wanderers, and nothing will ever change that. But I live in Glasgow, and I've tried to stay neutral with the Glasgow teams, and I've you know, it's a case of I like to see the Glasgow teams win, but when they play each other, the best team on the day. And we were going through the shopping centre, and I just happened to mention I liked the that kind of yellow. And for my birthday, my friends bought me, are you ready for this? The 1988 Celtic shirt, which I've kind of swayed towards Celtic, who I do think is the better team of the two. So yeah. So Paul J. Lewis, hello, how are you? Hi there, just sub to your channel. Happy birthday for tomorrow. Paul J. Lewis, wonderful guy. I watch, there's a couple of streams that I watch. Obviously now I've been getting more into scale models. I'm watching a lot more of the model making streams, and I would thoroughly recommend watching them, because I tried to make them sorry, they're a little bit like the way I tried to make my streams, in that you can be sitting there doing your own thing right now, excuse me, and listening. Obviously I will show you things, but it really isn't going to ruin the stream if you don't look at the things that I'm showing you. And I love them. There's one Paul ISM. I watch him just about every morning that I can, because they just talk. I'm going to put it out there. They just sit there talking everyday crap, and I can just be getting on with what I want to do. In fact, he's actually got me through. He's got me through most mornings getting on my desk, and I can almost guarantee when I go in and I say good morning, Paul J. Lewis will be one of the very first people to respond back in the chat. So I really do appreciate that, Paul. Thank you very much. So yes, where was I? So my desk, let me pull up my I'm going to call it my holiday slideshow, because at the end of the day, that's pretty much what it is. This will bring you up. I'm going to bring a couple of videos out, which I'm going to release one a week. So it'll be about three or four videos. But because I was dismantling everything, it was very hard to do videos when there was not much to show you. So let's have a look at my old desk. So let's see if I can get that on full screen. Yeah, let's pop me down in the. Now, I'll tell you what, we'll just have me out there. So this is my old desk. Nothing wrong with it. And to be honest with you, a lot of things haven't changed. What I've been doing over the last few weeks is just changing a few things, like the arrangement of the. If you see there, the monitors, that I've changed those around. You know, there was one up on the left-hand side, and then maybe I've swapped some of the drawers around just to sort of play about, because I've been thinking about this desk for the last couple of weeks. The biggest problem I had is, if you look underneath the desk, it's all basically, it's a piece of wood resting on a plastic table. Does the job absolutely fine, apart from the messy floor. But because there's a triangular support in the middle there, you can't do anything with that space, and there's so much wasted space, and that was the main thing that I wanted to change. And for some reason I can't find the that's interesting. Sorry guys, I'm gonna, when you, okay, right, sorry, when you pull up an image on a directory, you normally get an arrow on the left and the right. So this is my inverted commas temporary shelving, which I put in the corner. This is the door for my living room, and I wanted to put my desk there. One of the big problems is that I just don't have my living room. It's just got things. It's got a radiator in the middle of the room, which is nice, but you can't put anything by the radiator. Then there's a window in the middle of the room. Again, nice place to put a window, but then it's quite hard to put, and it's a really hard arrangement. So what I've tried to do is split the living room in two. So where this door frame is, that's kind of the border between my hobby area and the living room. For some reason, I took a photo of, you got to remember, I'm in the process of clearing stuff up. This is why there's a lots of mess. But obviously, if you look on the right, you'll see that's my hobby desk. And then that sofa there with the duvet on and the boxes, that was turned the other way and sat across here. And that's why there's no space. I don't really know why I took that photo of a sofa. I could have just said, oh, I've got 2 sofas and they're very large. So what I've done is they came from the charity shop. They were £250 for 2. And it was quite interesting that when I moved into this house, I said, this is my house. I'm going to make it my little nest. I'm going to have a really nice sofa, you know, and if I can't afford it this week, I'll put a bit more money away and I'll wait another week and I'm going to get an absolutely beautiful sofa. And then I saw those in the charity shop. £250, bang, I'm having them. So yeah, so they didn't cost me much, so I think they're worth far more than I paid for them. But I've decided one of them is going. So I've done a little bit of a deal with the charity shop. They're coming tomorrow to take one of them away, and they're replacing it with a chocolate leather reclining single chair, which is going to go roughly where this box is down here with the drill and the heater. And it's going to cost me £45. Basically, the deal is in exchange for giving them the sofa, I get free delivery. I don't like negotiating with charity shops because any negotiation you make is taking money away from their donations. But I'm giving them a 2-seater settee, so that's fine. Right, so I'm not a carpenter. So anyone is, I'll be honest with you, you can criticize my woodwork and the way I do my joints and things, and it will just go straight over my head. I've done it this way because I can do it this way. But this is laying out the rough plan. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a government health warning. About 3 people have seen photos and they have absolutely no idea what's going on in my head. And the way that I can describe this is I've effectively built a climbing frame. Then I've cut bits away and put the tabletop on, and it will all make sense in the end. So this is laying down the base of the frame. And then you see there's a bit of wood across there. That's to make up the first shelf. I don't know why. I was a little bit worried. I wasn't sure if there was going to be enough wood. So that's all the wood stacked up in the hallway. And it's my poor old lodger that's been stacked up for about a month. And it's a little bit awkward to walk around. So there's the first shelf. And I've decided I'm going to repurpose the chipboard shelves for my temporary warehouse shelving. I bought it about 4 years ago as a temporary solution, and a lot of it is coming down, and each unit has 5 shelves. So what do I do with it? Rather than give it away or throw it away, why not use it? So you see this, the first chipboard shelf has gone in. Now it doesn't go all the way to the end, but you see this box there, that's the size of boxes that I'm putting under it. So it's really not a problem. So there's the 3 boxes. I think this is still a draft run. So that's the size of the boxes. And so I'm happy with that length. Next, I wanted to measure a space for my chair to go in. And I had a very highly scientific way of measuring the distance, which is to place my chair in, place 2 bits of wood by the side, make sure that the wood is a little bit wider at the bottom than it is at the top. And that's the distance I've given myself. Highly technical there, takes a university student to figure that one out. And then once I've got that distance, every time I screw these down, I do measure both ends. So it should be the same width at the back than it is at the front. And then obviously you can see there, I'm starting to set the next shelf up. You'll see that there is a space on the right. That's the space I'm going to put my computer in. So Now I'm starting to build the next level up. And the way I've worked that level is to place 4 chipboard shelves on top of the cardboard boxes and then place the piece of wood there. Again, it's not very scientific, but it works very well. And then I start to screw in the uprights. And obviously having these extra uprights, it means I can use, well, I've probably gone overkill on the thickness of the wood. But as you can see, my joints are not really professional. They're all stacked on top of each other, and each joint is screwed in by 3 screws. It does the job very, very well. So there's 5 uprights gone in on the back. And now I'm starting to build the next level up. And these pieces of wood are 2.4 meters long. And I bought them 2.4. If I went for the 3 meter lengths, I live on a 2nd floor flat, and I don't think I'd be able to maneuver them around the house. If I bought 1 meter lengths, it actually works out far more expensive to buy 2 1.2 meter lengths than it does to buy a 2.4 meter length and cut it in half. So I'm using 2.4, and then I'm cutting the excess off and then using that for the next bit. So you see that I'm now starting to build up the next shelf, and more uprights going in and the next level going in. Now the plan here, if you notice that this 2nd level there, obviously at the moment I'm not going to be able to get the table in. But if I build that around with a space, it's not going to be so stable. So the plan is to build it up, and then I cut away these supports. If you're lost, then you're probably the same as the majority of people. So you can see there that now I'm putting, this isn't a shelf going on top. This is just organizing the top layer. So where these 3rd bits of chipboard is, that's going to be tabletop level. Now from this angle, it looks very, very tall, but it's about a chair height. And then this is a picture of, you see where I've put things on, I got my joints wrong, so they weren't level. So I've had to unscrew a lot of these uprights and then maneuver them and then screw them in again. And you see that this is out by quite a bit. So that's testing the chair. The chair goes in absolutely fine. And once I've got all the uprights in, that's what it looks like. And this is the point where most people are going, oh my God, what's going on there? So you'll notice that to the left and to the right, just above the shelves, I've made little extra shelves. There's one shelf. I've just got a few magazines. And there's one, can you see that there where my, I don't know if you can see my cursor. This is where my, because obviously I need my keyboard to do things on the computer, but once I'm filming, I try to move my keyboard out of the way. So it's basically, the one on the left is just essentially a little shelf. It's about 2 or 3 inches high, and it's just somewhere just to hide my keyboard while I'm filming. And you will notice there's a person in the doorway. That's my neighbor, lovely lady. She comes up to bother me every now and again and drink all my posh coffees. So this is what it looks like with the tabletop on. Now this is I think it's a 1.2 by 2.4 meter length piece of plywood. I went a little bit thinner. I think the recommendation is about a 24 mil piece, and I think I went for 12. And the reason, I'm just going to flip back a bit. Can you see I've put this big support across the middle, and I gambled that 12 mil would be strong enough with all those supports. Bit of a spoiler warning for you. Yes, it is strong enough. I'm going to do a quick bit of chat catch up, and there's a reason for that, and that's I want to say hi to Dave Mac Builds. So Paul J. Lewis says hi there. Oh, so that was the last bit, wasn't it? You're most welcome. I like to spread the word and the love. Yes, do you know what? That is proper hobby, I think. my friends who know me well know that I had a few problems with some people I knew, and there are a lot of toxic people in the hobby world, and most of the people I associate with don't understand how people can be so toxic. But yeah, they are about. But it's just nice to have people that just, we just want to get on with our hobbies. So and that's what most of us are like. So Love Mini says hi all. And right, so Dave Mac Build, hi Penny. Dave, I owe you a big thank you. As you can see, I spoke to Dave about this quite a while back, and I was going to use 2x4s. And Dave said to me, well, I've just built all my shed using 2x2s. And he says, the tools that I've got in my shed are a lot heavier than things that you're going to have on your desk. So I thought, oh, well, maybe 2x2s will do the job, or in English, that's 50 mil by 50 mil. So I'm just going to say that by changing it from 2x4s to 2x2s, Dave, you've saved me about £200 to £300 on this build. So I owe you a big, big thank you. And then we've got Love Mini's birthday with a little cake. So yeah, so that's now what my table looks like. Some of the supports have been cut away, and then there I've got a monitor arm going in. I've got 3 monitors, and I've got this this arm to hold them in, rather than standing on the drawers. They now screw they mount onto one of the supports, which obviously just gives me a little bit of a lower footprint. Right, so now what I'm doing is I'm putting some beading in. When I put the drawers in, I don't want them sliding back. So I've just got this, I think it's 6 by 12 mil beading. It was actually quite hard to put in. Just for the benefit of those that have very little woodworking knowledge, if you screw a screw into a piece of wood, it's extremely likely to split it. Now, these big 2x2s that I've been using, they've got big old heavy duty woodworking nails, but they're designed in such a way that they won't split the wood. It kind of, the end is more of a drill than a point. And on the very end, they're self countersinking. So you just literally just chuck the screw straight in and it countersinks. But also you got to remember that that's 2x2. These little beading strips, I've put small screws in. So the way to get around the splitting is you have to drill a hole through the middle and then screw the screw into the hole. But you still have to be careful. A couple of bits did split slightly. But yeah, I've screwed down all this beading all along. So that stops anything from going back. And then once I put all the drawers on, this is only a dry run. I've not screwed those drawers in. But that's what it looked like. I mean, this is nowhere near what it looks like now. There's a random picture of my hand on top of a cutting board. I have, no, that's a video, that's why. So that's the end of the show. Yeah, so that's the end of my my pictures. So it's a little bit boring, but it kind of goes on about the process. There'll be a couple more videos come out. I got to the point where I took videos with my phone, so it's not the best. So what I've done since is I've now built in an extension. So I've got my printer next to me, but not too close that it gets in the way. One of the issues I've got is I've got things like this, bottles of alcohol, and there's just nowhere it really goes. So I built this little cupboard for things that are not needed every day. Things like this, because I did an experiment the other week. I watched a video on making my own paint thinners and airbrush cleaners. and I gave it a go. I don't know why I picked up the bottle of water, but I now make my own thinners up, and it's absolutely brilliant. And in a nutshell, Tamiya X20A acrylic thinner, I think that's about £6 a bottle for 250 ml. This thinner is about 60 pence a bottle. The only drawback with it is that I bought 2 litres of alcohol at 18 quid. I've then bought some screen wash for the airbrush cleaner. It's cost me about 18 quid to buy all the ingredients, but I've got enough ingredients to last me for about 20-30 litres of it. But another thing I discovered, absolutely nothing to do with scale models, if you mix that with water, 1 part alcohol, 2 parts water, stick it in a spray bottle, it's actually really good kitchen cleaner. Really, really good. It cuts through grease, not a problem. So yeah, so obviously the bottles that I'm using, like when I'm doing my airbrushing, I'll get through a bottle of that a week. Because I know it's cheap, I can just literally chuck it all in the airbrush. I will still use see, I've made this up. This is my airbrush cleaner or paint cleaner, and because it's so cheap, I chuck it in a jar. When I finished airbrushing, I'll just chuck the whole airbrush in. Don't leave it there for weeks and weeks, but it means that it's not going to dry out. And then I'll do a full proper clean, and then this is, in my opinion, this is the best airbrush cleaner that I've found, Medina. It's like magic. But because I've done most of the cleaning with very, very cheap products, basically I use about 2 or 3 drops of this just to shoot through the airbrush, just to get all the last little bits out. But yeah, so basically everything that I need, these are within arm's reach, but they're not on top of the table because I'm not using them every day. I've got my 12 boxes underneath. This is going to become another shelf, and because I don't really want, you see, there's a big block of flats there, and that's not really what I want for my background for my videos. So here I will be building a shelf, which is going to come to, well, it's a bit different with StreamYard, but with my OBS videos, the screen actually comes to there. So yeah, the shelf is going to be built up, and then I can put models and bits and bobs on there. Unfortunately, my other model, I'm just going to move the camera, so you'll see in the background there's my Ecto 1, and unfortunately it's probably going to have to live there. There's my Terminator, which I do want to show you all one day, and there behind that chair, as I say, it's still work in progress, my Fiat 500 in a caravan. And I have to say, what a wonderful model it is, except that they did me a little offer, because the Agostini are moving offices or warehouse or something. They offered everyone a 20% discount if you buy all the remaining packs. And I thought, okay, yeah, I'll go for that. So I bought 8 or 10 packs, and I got all of the packs except for pack 23. So I've actually finished it up to pack 22. I've got pack 24 sitting here, but I can't go any further because I'm still waiting for 23 because they're out of stock. So bit annoyed about that, but you know, that's how it goes. So the other thing that I've got, and I think this is well cool, I found a Alexa smart plug, but it's a 4-way extension. So you've got just your normal 4-way extension plug, but each one is an individual smart plug. So I can't show you because the camera leads won't work. won't fit that far. So you're going to have to trust me. So I can go, and you might see some light come out. So I've got a light built into one underneath the desk, because obviously it gets dark when the light goes, and I've got a heater under there. Now you heard me earlier on, so let's try the light first. So echo, light on. There you go. So there's the light coming out. So echo, light off. So now obviously if I go underneath the desk to get some drawers out, I'm not fumbling around in the dark. Now I've also got a halogen heater under there. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. So echo, heat on. So you can see the heat coming out. Well, you can see the halogen light. So echo, heat off. But I played around with the Alexa. You can actually give it voice prompts and it gives you certain responses back. So hopefully you'll pick this up. So echo, I'm cold.
You poor thing. Let me help you get warm.
And then the heat's come on. And then echo, I'm hot.
Just as well. Electricity is expensive these days.
So I'm going to set an aircon unit up as well at some point, and I'm going to do that. The last thing I've got, some of you have seen this and some of you haven't. This is a custom drawer. This is one of these drawers, but it's double height, turned around, and it's got a 240 volt supply coming in. And it's got another, I forget what it's called, but you plug 240 volts in, and it then pushes it back out as 24 volts. And then this is actually broken at the moment, but it powers a variable power supply. But it's also powering some buck converters. So this is set for 24 volts. So I just plug a couple of banana plugs in there. This is set for whatever I control that as. This is set for 1.5, 5 volts and 9 volts. The only trouble is the unit hums. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It doesn't seem to get hot and it doesn't seem to want to blow up, but it does hum. So I do like to switch that off when not in use. So that's actually plugged into the Alexa as well. So if I ever want to use anything, but the primary reason for that is, say for example, I'm doing airbrushing or some soldering, I can put my solder iron down on the table, plug it in on the table, and then away I go. And the way I activate that is echo, plug on, and it's on. So echo, plug off. So that's it. So the other thing I'm going to do, obviously, I'm going to do the shelves. I'm going to experiment. I've got this cabinet lighting, this is the same cabinet lighting that I've got underneath, but one is enough to power underneath. And I do have a little bit of a problem with the lighting, as you know. So I'm going to sort of play about with the idea of having maybe a piece of wood come out. It'll be above camera height, but there'll be some cabinet lighting on the top. So, and then that can be voice activated with the Alexa. And then it'll be kind of like the football light floodlight effect, where because there'll be 4 or 5, it won't cast any shadows, because where the shadow's being made by one light, the other lights are coming in and there'll be no shadows, or there'll be 4 shadows, I don't know. But this is just something I'm going to play with. So that's basically it. So chat's just gone up a little bit. So let's catch you up. Right, so I'm glad. So Dave Max is glad to be of help. Not a problem. This is why I talk to people. People throw ideas my way and then I throw ideas that way. And, you know, some of my ideas might be horse poo. Some of your ideas are horse poo. But just every now and again. I'll give you a really good example. I was speaking to someone yesterday. Now I'm having great trouble with my internet connection. I've got BT broadband, and that is horse poo. It's totally inadequate for streaming, but I'm on a minimum contract until March next year. It's so bad, I've actually bought Virgin before this connection has run out. But my internet I put in the bedroom, and it's 50 megabits. But what I didn't realize until it was installed, that is that the walls are so thick. I think my walls are made of some kind of magic concrete. I actually have no reception in the living room at all. So what the engineer had suggested is that I take a 50-meter Ethernet cable, I send it straight up into the attic, run it through the attic, and then drop it down, and then have another router in the living room. And that's fine, but it's going to cost about 180 quid to do 2 of them. So I was talking to a friend yesterday, and he went, "Oh, well, just put this in." This is a Wi-Fi kit. I'm trying to find where the camera is. And I looked it up on Amazon. It was £30. And I love Amazon because Amazon's return policy is brilliant. So I thought, well, I'll buy it. I'll plug it in. If it doesn't work, it's going back to Amazon. It arrived today. I plugged it in. It's not the results I wanted. But to give you an idea, BT is 12 megabits per second, or 12 gigabyte, 12, let's call it 12. You know what I mean when I say 12. Virgin is 50 in the bedroom. So I've plugged it all in. Apparently it sends the Wi-Fi down the electrical cable to the receiver. So I've plugged it in, and my computer is plugged into Ethernet, so it's getting it direct. And I did a speed check, and I'm now getting 12 from the Virgin, which isn't any better than the BT, but the upload speed has changed. On the BT, the upload speed, I did a check this morning, 0.4. On the Virgin, I'm now getting 4. To give you an idea of what that actually means, I did a little test video a couple of days ago, and I uploaded it, and it took 2.5 hours to upload. And then I gave my friend the link, and I said, look, you're really good at critiques. Can you look at this video? 2.5 hours it took. I uploaded that exact same video to my YouTube channel in 15 minutes. So I'm happy. I'm not ecstatically happy. I'm still going to go and get the thing. But to be honest with you, for 30 quid, it's a really good stopgap. So, yeah. So I've lost where we are. So Plastic Monkey, hello. Hi Penny. Isn't it funny the new friends you make just by watching their channels? So Dave Mac Bills, something else, Penny, the brass collars and the razors for the Spitfire, you really need to glue them in, as the razors will collapse and the Spitfire could get damaged. Yeah, I've been looking at some videos that have been coming out about the Spitfire. I don't know why, but I am so behind on the Spitfire because they haven't been sending the issues out. Everybody I know, most people seem to be up to issue 100 on the Spitfire. I, for some reason, have just received issue 94. I haven't not paid my bill. I've always paid the bill. And for some reason, the issues just haven't been coming. Why they're treating me badly and everybody else, I don't know. Favoritism, I don't know. But at least, because I'm not filming the Spitfire anymore, but I'm noticing that everyone's having big problems. Cables are snapping. This, that, and the other. Now, I notice a lot of people are stopping at issue 100. Now, for those that don't know the Spitfire build, which I can't show you because it's in the other room, it's basically a part work over 100. It's 120 week part work. The first 100 issues is the Spitfire. Issues 101 to 120 is a diorama. Now, I personally think the diorama is very important. It's got a little guy built, you know, putting the bullets into the machine gun bit. It's got someone refueling it, and I think that's all part and parcel of it. So I've got no intention of stopping at issue 100. And one thing that I've always said, these part works, they do things, and as soon as you finish building them, you're going to play with them for hours on end. But once the novelty wears out a little bit, it just becomes a display piece. That Terminator has been built for about 3 months. I haven't used it for the last 2 months. It's great. It's got moving eyes, and it's got makes the noises, and it's got floodlights, and I will show it to you one day. So the question is, if the Spitfire doesn't do all the movie stuff with, you know, takeoff and stuff like that, does it really matter? So I'm wondering if I just build it, maybe just try it out once. So we'll see what happens. I probably won't be using it that much anyway. Obviously, I want to get a good model, and I am really disappointed that Harshette. First model I did with Harshette was the Route Master, and that is an absolutely amazing model. And suddenly things are going downhill from there. I don't know. Is this common with everything? You know, Tamiya. I know Tamiya do some generally really good kits, but every now and again they'll throw a doozy out there. Is it the same with everything? I don't know. So Plastic Monkey, fancy seeing you, Paul J. Paul J. Lewis, Sue, Ice Queen, Queen 7, and Mike Skelly models. Wish you the happiest of birthdays for tomorrow. Oh, thank you. Yes, I saw the name pop up, and I thought, well, how can they be here watching my stream when they're doing their own stream? So, but yeah, it kind of makes sense when you actually read a comment properly. It kind of makes more sense, doesn't it? So James Mower, happy birthday at Penny's Pit Stop. Thank you very much. Do you know what? It's funny. I think I've got to that age. Birthdays don't really mean so much now. I prefer Christmas, and I prefer Christmas when I'm giving gifts. I've got to that stage now where your reaction to a gift that I've given you means more to me than getting a gift. And it was funny that my lodger said to me, he goes, I want to get you a gift. And I said, no, it's all right. I don't want a gift. And I said, the thing is, because I work for a living, if I want anything, I go out and buy it. And he says, oh, but I want it. I said, no, it's fine. He says, well, I'll tell you what, because he works at one of these hand car washers. He says, I'll bring your car in the morning and I'll wash your car. I'll give you a full valet. And I went, actually, that's a really good present. It's not really costing him anything other than time and a bit of energy. I get my car cleaned. While he's cleaning the car, I'm going to really push the boat out. I'm going to go to a place called Tim Hortons. They do breakfast for $2.99. So that's me. That's my birthday meal. And that is genuinely good day. You know, eat out, have a cup of coffee and a bacon butty or something. Get back in my car and it's nice and clean. So Plastic Monkey says, hello, James. Paul J. Lewis says, hi, Paul. Plastic Monkey. Now, I struggle to pronounce that name. Philip Civita. He says, hi, Penny. Scaly Models, live streaming and here too, LOL. Plastic Monkey says, hi, Mike. And I've just lost the comments. If you have a lot of comments, it tends to jump a little bit. Smith Speeds, I'm hungry. I'm going to try that one. Echo, I'm hungry.
Hello, hungry. I'm Alexa.
I like that. It just says, hello, hungry. I'm Alexa. So Paul J. Lewis says, hi, Mike at Scaly Models. Smith Speeds, hi, all. Love Minis Repeater. So Ice Queen, hello. Thank you very much for the birthday wish. P40F20's just popped in. So James Mower, Echo, say hello to Echo. Say hello to Ice Queen 7.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like I was going to send her a message on her Echo or something. Dave Mac builds. Hi, not Chris. That's it. Right. So Dave Mac builds. You'll often find him streaming with Chris Davis, or is it Chris Davis World and Chris Campbelling. So we call them Chris, and not Chris. So he's. Oh, that's no good. I'm giving up smoking because my light's not working. So Dave Mac builds. I've still got to sort out the cable for the undercarriage. P40 F20. I just had a dead port wing lift motor in my spare. So yeah, someone else with a problem with the build. So I'm facing facts here, guys. The odds are my Spitfire's not going to work. So I'm wondering whether to just go, right, okay, my Spitfire's not going to work. Let's just build it and I won't switch it on. And I'll just put it on there and the figures will go on. And if I'm not happy with the figures, I'll repaint them because I know how to paint figures. I'm not too bad. One thing, you're going to see a couple of new skills, I hope. So as most of you may already know, I've been trying out basing. So I'll show you. Well, yeah, let me switch the camera and I'll show you. I'm trying to take my painting. I'm always trying to take my painting to the next level. But this is a Sky Raider. You won't see this on YouTube. I do it off stream. So this has been black based and then white squiggles. And you'll see it on the F14 as well. And then what I want to do, you see it's glossy at the moment because I'm at the decal stage. So I'm quite happy with that. This is the decal that went on today. And as you can see, it's conformed really nicely. And then what I'm going to do is give it another gloss coat. And then I'm going to start doing, this is the first time I've ever had these oil paints. So I'm going to try the weathering with the oil paints. And the reason you're not going to see this model is because then that way, if it all goes wrong, I'm not messing it up on camera. But I'm anticipating, I don't want to sound big-headed. I seem to be able to do okay so long as I've done enough research and I'm patient. I don't think it'll be award-winning standard, but I think I'm capable of doing a job good enough that people will say, oh yeah, I can see, you've done your panel lines and it looks a bit grubby. So yeah, I'll give it a go and we'll see how we get on with it. But yeah, so with the Spitfire, I think if the figures aren't very good, I'll repaint those. I can do dioramas anyway. So sorry, I've done a bit of a naughty and I've just looked ahead on the stream. So yeah, I think I'll be able to make the Spitfire look good static. So I might not even switch it on. So scale model Muse. I hear someone is having a birthday. Happy you day. Oh, thank you. I do say, I have said on quite a few occasions, everyone deserves to be a princess on their birthday, and I am going to be that person. So I'm going to do whatever I want at any point. And I'm not in work on Saturday, but I am in work on Sunday. So bear with me. I got this brand new tracker ball and sometimes it sticks. So blimey, P40, you're going to try and get another one. I suppose it's a bit harder if you're in America, isn't it? But yeah, I hope you can sort it out. But I've got to be honest with you, if anyone's model is going to break, it's probably better that it's P40 because he's got the skills and the knowledge to sort things out. You know, if it's some 10-year-old kid that's like working on this model and he's like, oh, I got this Spitfire, oh no, it's gone wrong, you know, he may not have the skills to sort it out. I don't mean like P40, all your models deserve to be broken, but you know, you've got the skills to sort it out. P40F20, happy birthday, Penny. Thank you very much. Plastic Monkey, High Muse. Philip Civitar, happy birthday for tomorrow. Thank you very much. Scale Model Muse, hey, Paul. And this is the one I laughed at. I'm sorry, Penny. I think I started a nice Queen 7 and Scaly Models raid on your channel. No. That's what happens. You don't balance a box on a shelf properly. It tends to fall off. No, it's the more the more the merrier. If you like my channel, I hope you stick around and like, share, subscribe. If you don't like my channel, that's fine. It's just, you know, I don't mind. But you know, if anybody comes in and they enjoy themselves, that's mission accomplished as far as I'm concerned. So now, I'm sorry, I'm going to pronounce that wrong, I'm sure. Saran, but happy birthday, but thank you. I'm sure you'll tell me how to pronounce that. James Mower, don't forget to smash the like button. Good point, good point. My trackable is, oh, it's stuck. It's actually stuck. There we go. Is it rude to hit your own like button? I don't know. So people, now I've got to be honest with you. When first time P40F20 said SPAD, I'm like, what are you talking about? And I went away and I Googled. And yes, I do now know SPAD is a Sky Raider, which is amongst my favorite. Did you know, fun fact for you that didn't, of those that didn't know, the Sky Raider can hold more ordnance than the B-17. I didn't know that, but obviously I do know that now. Scale Model Muse, raiding is a Twitch thing for those who do. Do you know what? I used to be on Twitch, and I used to have a really bad internet connection, and I used to be just like I do with other people. I'd watch people's streams, and obviously a couple of people had subscribed to my channel, and then I knew some really big channels. And I'd be sitting there and I'd be doing a stream with my perhaps 2 or 3 viewers, you know, nice and intimate, and it's lovely. And then all of a sudden there'd be a raid, and there'd be about 250 people would be watching my channel, and it would crash the stream because my internet connection just couldn't handle it. It was funny. I'm sure Love Minis will remember those days, because I think Love Minis was Love Minis was my first viewer that watched more than 2 streams. Right. Dave McBills, you've done a great job. Thank you. It's I bought that a year ago. When I first came to Glasgow, I was in a hotel for a month, and I thought I'm going to have something to do. So I bought a few paints, and I bought the Sky Raider. It wasn't too expensive. And I just sort of cracked on with it, and it's taken me all this while to do it, but yeah, it's good fun. And it doesn't matter if it's the ones on stream, but funnily enough, the ones that I'm doing, the F14 is causing me the most problems, and I think the reason it's causing me a lot of problems is, stupidly, I just jumped straight into the model and got on with it. And I think I didn't quite spend enough time planning it. And as a result, I'm going backwards and forwards, repeating things that I'm doing. Like there's a bit where the grey and the white meets. So I've done the grey, then I've had to redo the white, then I've had to redo the grey. And if I planned it all properly, I could have just gone in, done the white, done the grey, job done. So it's causing a lot of problems, but I don't think it's the kit. One area that was a problem was I tried to jump in with a load of photo etch. Don't do 4 packs of photo etch if you haven't done a scale model for 30 years. But also one thing, and this is going to sound absolutely ridiculous, the photo etch is like this thick. When you scrape away the detail to stick the photo etch, you've got to take it down further, the thickness of the photo etch. Otherwise, you're building on top of the cockpit. So, of course, the cockpit doesn't fit properly because after putting the photo etch on, the cockpit's now thicker than it's meant to be. And that sounds absolutely stupid after the event. But when you're just jumping in, you don't think of that. So I don't mind that the F-14 has gone badly. I think I'll end up with, it will still be an F-14. And anyone, like, obviously you've got the new Top Gun film coming out. Well, I don't think there'll be any F-14s in it, but you know, if anybody has watched the Top Gun movie, they will know what that model is. So at least it's recognizable. But most importantly, I've learned a hell of a lot of lessons from it. And I've always said, if you do something wrong, but you learn from it, it's as good as doing a successful model. Paul J. Lewis, smash that like button, peeps, like it's offended you. There you go. How's that? Happy birthday for tomorrow, Penny. Thank you very much. I've sourced a new motor from Evil Bay. Oh, I bet how much that cost you. I remember P40 when he was collecting the bus, the amount of money he was paying for the trouble with eBay is that people know they can charge anything they want, and I think I know if my figures are wrong, they're not too bad. Route Master was costing $7.99 or $8.99 an issue, less than a tenner. I think P40 F20 was being charged 40 quid an issue plus 40 quid postage, and I'm like, that is absolute you can't do that, can you? So got the lifeboats for the Titanic now. Is that the Hachette version? I am tempted by that, but I just think because I can paint, I can't justify paying that much money for the Hachette one when I could go out and buy the plastic model one and I can paint it, and it's about half the price. And then the one that makes me laugh is you've got another Titanic made by the Diecast Club that's mostly wood, which that just makes me laugh. So Love Mini says LOL. James Mower, and the Spad bombed with a W. Yes, I read about that. I'm going to have to bring that up. So Paul J. Lewis, cake. Did you mention cake, Michael? I don't know. I don't remember it. So, oh yes, watch every stream since the first. Wow, did you really love minis? Oh, I feel honoured. So Dave McBills, it's the Trumpeter Titanic, right? Oh, I thought you'd finished that. I didn't realise you'd. Yeah, £25 per issue plus 20. But listen, I could not just. And if I remember rightly, if you bought 2 issues, it was £50 postage, not £25 or whatever it cost. So Stuart Sullivan, I had 2 7 Salems. I was short of cash, so sold them for 80 quid. Now they're asking 380 each. Yeah. Oh, right. Dalek times 2 typo Salem. Yeah. Well, I suppose the actual value of anything is whatever you can get for them. I feel awful actually because I bought one of the Terminator issues. I can't remember which one it was. It's the one, right? So when you build the Terminator, it's like issue 4 or 5. You get a battery pack, and you normally get battery packs with them or testing, and you think they're testing. So of course, over the course of 120 weeks. Because you've just chucked it somewhere, you're not testing every week, it gets lost or whatever. And then it wasn't until I got right to the very end that I realized that that pack is actually part of the model. So although you're using it to test, it actually goes inside the head. So there's two sets of batteries. You've got one in the base to do all the lights and the sound, but the eyes are controlled by by the battery in the head. So suddenly you're like issue 100 odd, and you're like, oh no, I need that. I haven't got the battery pack. So you go on to the Harshot website, and they're completely sold out. And then you look other places, and you can't find them anywhere. And then you realize that everybody else who's been collecting the Terminator has done exactly the same as you. That's why you can't get hold of that model, that issue. Then you find one on eBay, and it's like 40 quid. And that's the only one you can find in the whole world. And thankfully, I was able to get one. But then I found mine anyway, because most of my stuff, see, the best thing I do, I have these little drawers, EMBA hobby drawers, and I put all my part work crap in each drawer. Like, see, the chassis for the Ecto 1, I haven't thrown it away. I've learnt my lesson. But I've got all my spare screws, even the ones I haven't sorted out yet, and I keep everything. And there's a reason for that. So right, so Dave Mac, not finished yet. Still the master go on, and all the rigging, and then the diorama, and then sorry Penny, I got it bad. No problems. Thank you so much for popping in. I really do appreciate it. So right, so that's my chat caught up. So right, what am I doing? So you are going to see a bit of a mess of videos for the next month or so, where I've been filming them on the old desk, which incidentally was over there. You've got some videos have been filmed, like some of where is it? So the Eddie Stobart is filmed up to the 25th of May. But the fire truck was filmed up to the middle of June. So you're going to start to see some videos come in, and you know, once one series starts on the new table, the rest will be. But then the next day you'll see a video that looks like it's gone back in time. So it's a bit of a mess. So P40 says workstation looks great. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And happy birthday. So I'm not sure if you were here at the beginning, P40, but I was saying earlier on, I've got this new this Wi-Fi thing. It throws the signal from my bedroom to the living room. It hasn't improved my computer. Right, so my internet from the bedroom is 50 megabits. My BT is 12, which is not great. The Virgin now comes into the front room, and that's now 12-ish, which is no faster than the BT, but it's increased my upload time by 10 times. I sent you a video the other day on YouTube, and that took 2.5 hours to upload. I uploaded that same video this afternoon. It took 15 minutes to upload. So that's a real plus, because some of these videos I'm uploading, I don't know why, but they're absolutely huge in terms of size. So you might get like a half an hour video, and it might be 2 or 3 gigabytes. And it takes so long to upload. I've got to leave my computer switched on while I go to work. Being able to sort of upload 2.5 hours in you know, from 2.5 hours to 15 minutes, that's great. So I'm happy with this. It's not perfect, but plastic bag, happy birthday, P. If I don't see you in a stream, yeah, you probably will be. I've got the next few days off. I'm on holiday this week. Tomorrow obviously I'm off. Saturday I'm off. Tomorrow is a bit of a busy day for me in the morning. I've got to take my lodger to work. Oh, sorry, just give me 1 second. 1 second. V, I'm sorry, I meant to tell you, I didn't bring the vacuum cleaner in because if you grab my keys, it's in about, I brought the little things in. Okay, and I'm on the screen, that's not nice. What is that? Right? Yes, very high. Oh, it's better. No, go between there. It's very hot. just streaming. I am so sorry about that, guys. I should have hit the mute button actually. My lodge has come home and he's just cooking. He's cooking on high again, but that's not there nor there. But he asked me to bring a vacuum cleaner back, and I brought it back in the car, but because it's too heavy to lift up 4 flights of stairs, I just wanted to tell him I haven't brought it in. So right. So yeah, tomorrow I've got to take him to work. Take his vacuum cleaner back, and then I'm getting my car cleaned. Stuart Sullivan's happy birthday, Penny. Right, so I want to share with you some ideas. Feel free to chuck back at me. On a Sunday, I have my hobby cheating videos. I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. I've got some great ideas for the future, but I feel I've got to start right at the beginning. And I don't know if it's because of the level model that I'm at, but I think they're a little bit boring. I'm not sitting here going, my videos are boring, don't watch them. But I'm like, the first 2 videos, you haven't even seen a model, because it's all about the planning and using the internet. And then issue 3 is going to be about your hobby area and new equipment. So it's a bit of a slow start, and it's not till we get to about the 7th or 8th video we start playing with paints and paintbrushes. So it's a bit of a first gear going, first gear, second gear, third, and I know what I'm going to do when we hit 5th gear, but you've got to go through the gears to get there. So James Mower says, oh God, the lodge is cooking. Yeah, we have, what do I call him now? Oh, I've forgotten the bloody name now. Keith, oh, I had the name lined up. The guy from Prodigy, something Keith. Because basically what had happened, he comes up and he cooks on high, the gas stove high or nothing. And I've got a big ring and the flames come up really big. And he was boiling spaghetti and the flames came up so high, it actually set fire to the spaghetti in the pan. And he is the first, you say these sayings like, oh, they're such a bad cook, they burn water or they burn salad. This guy has actually burnt something boiling spaghetti, and he actually burnt it. So so Scale Model Muse says the process is part of it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You can't, I'm doing a series of videos designed for people who have done no hobby experience at all. If I then just went, there you go, this is how we do an airbrush, they're going to go, whoa, I don't even know what paint is. So yeah, it is the process. Can't see the smoke rising. You may hear the smoke alarms. One of the worst laws I've ever experienced now is in Scotland. It's now law that you have to have interlinked smoke alarms. So what that means is, before February, if you burn something in the kitchen, the smoke alarm goes off in the kitchen. That's it. Now, because they're all interlinked, every single smoke alarm goes off. So if the smoke alarm goes off in the kitchen, that will set the one off in this room, and has to have one in this room because apparently that's how the law goes. So we get an extra loud smoke alarm when someone else, in another room. So Stuart Sullivan says hobby cheating sounds very interesting. I like the word cheating because when you have something that's difficult, that you make it easy. It's like the saying, it's so easy, it's almost like cheating. And it's just like for example, it's not really a cheat, but you've got to thin your paints down. So everybody goes out and they buy Tamiya thinners at £8 a bottle. And I've made sorry for the benefit that goes at the beginning, but I've made my own thinners. And this, I honestly believe that this is as good as Tamiya thinners. And in fact, actually, it's better. It's better for me because I've modified it a little bit to suit me. I have a little bit of trouble with clogging in my airbrush. So my thinners has a little tiny bit more retarder medium in, just a little tiny bit. And now my thinners is so cheap, it's almost like I've stolen it. But it also, because I think it's better than this. You may not like my thinners because you might like your paint to dry really, really instantly. But it now makes my painting so easy. It's almost like I'm cheating. It shouldn't be that easy, should it? So that's what I mean by cheating. And quite often someone will say to you, "Oh, I'll bring this back in again." But where I've done the panel light, not the panel lining, but the shading, that looks really, really complex, doesn't it? But it was really easy. You start off by spraying the whole thing black, then you squiggle white random lines in. Well, surely that's cheating. You know, that's what I mean by hobby cheating. If no one had ever shown me how to do black basing, I would have looked at that and gone, no. So Smith Speed says Keith Flint. Yeah, I think it was Keith Flint. Pasta Mio. Is that some posh word for pasta on fire? So Harry Marwick, welcome to the stream. Evening, everybody. He is lovely. He is a really nice guy. I mean, listen, right, I don't want to go too much into detail, but the last lodger, he was an absolute nightmare. So, you know, the guy even had me arrested for something I didn't do. He was telling, the funniest one was he was outside putting stuff in the bin, telling the neighbors that I hold him hostage. Yeah. You know, that makes as much sense as going swimming with a iron underpants on. His contract is void since I probably make it sound worse than it is. We've all had stupid accidents, haven't we? My friend at Smith Speed, she'll tell you about the time that was it someone else? Anyway, I got so when I first got into 3D printing, the 3D printers I got came with Chinese plugs. So what I did was I cut the end of the plug off and I wired in a UK plug. No problems, you know, easy done. So I get this air conditioning unit. It's only a little 6-volt thing, and it's just got a little bottle of water in it. And the way it works, it's got a fan that goes over the water and it blows. So I think, okay, no problems. It's got a Chinese plug on it. I'll cut the plug off. I'll put a 3-pin plug on it. Job done, just like I did with the 3D printer. I put this plug in the wall, bang. What I didn't realize is that the 3D printers has got a little transformer built into the 3D printer to convert the voltage down from 240 to whatever it needs. The air conditioning units has that same thing, but it's in the plug that I've just cut off. So I've sent 240 volts straight into a 6-volt unit, you know, so we all do stupid things, don't we? Hobby hacks. Yeah, hobby hacks is another thing. Little things like, give you another example. If you want to paint white onto black, don't paint white onto black. Paint dark grey, then paint medium grey, then paint light grey, and then paint white. You'll save yourself about 15 coats of paint. Little things like that. And some of the stupid things I've been told that I've just gone, oh, that's simple. Why didn't I think? In fact, I learned one the other day, and I was on an off Paul ISM does an off-stream Zoom chat, and I'm watching, and one of the guys on there, what he's done is he's got a water bottle with a big sticky pad on, and he's doing a car, and he stuck the water bottle to the inside roof of the car, and he's using the water bottle as a figure. Painters will know figure holders. You put the figure in and you've got something to hold while you paint. He's done it using a water bottle, and I'm like, is that a water bottle you use? And he went, yeah, that's an old school trick. And I'm like, wow, that's brilliant. And it's stupid little things like that. Why go out and buy an expensive model holder when you can just as easily make one with a I don't know, a cup. I haven't got anything I could use but a cup and a bit of blue tack. So yeah, this is what I mean by the hobby hacks. He needs to be avoided. No, he is. I won't say too much bad about him. So Dave McBills, have to go, Penny. Nice to see you streaming again, catching it. Always nice to see you, Dave. I was going to ring you the other day, actually. Stuart Sullivan, fabulous, Penny, the shading. Yeah, again, it looks fabulous, but it's, I'm going to be honest with you, it wasn't that hard. It's knowing how to do it is harder than actually doing it, if that makes sense. So sounds like he needs a hug me jacket. Yeah, maybe. OMG, that's funny. Hug me jacket. Right. So yeah. So the model tips is a bit of a slow start, but as I say, some of the ideas I've had is I think is going to be good. Fire truck. Now, I had a funny thing happen yesterday. Was it yesterday? It was either the Eddie Stobart or the fire truck. I filmed them a long time ago. I just cracked on with them and then just filmed, tried to get a load of them out. The video went public yesterday, and someone left a comment, or a couple of people left comments about fiddly bits. And I'm reading these comments and I'm going, fiddly bits? What fiddly bits? Because it's been that long, I can't remember the fiddly bits anymore. So I'm wondering whether to slow down. But with the fire truck, I've had some big issues, either problems or they've been complicated. I was trying to get 2 or 3 issues done every video to try and, not only am I 3 or 4 months behind the build, I'm also getting a month's worth every well, I'm getting eight issues a month ish. So I'm trying to get more than 2 issues done on average. And you know, next week we've just done issue 12 and 12B. Next week is 13, 14, 15. May the 23rd is going to be 16, 17, 18. And then that's when I noticed the videos are coming out really long. So I've kind of looked at what I can do. And then you've got the next 3 weeks is only 1 issue. And then it just suddenly I thought, do you know what? It doesn't matter if I'm that far behind. If it takes me, if I can only do 1 issue a week, one stage a week, and there's 8 stages coming out every month, so that's going to take me 2 years to complete, then that's the way it is. And then I think issue 20 comes out quite a sensible size. Then I did issue 21 and I had a lot of problems with it. And I don't know if the problems were caused by me, and I don't know if my solutions were the best solution, but I think it was either 19 or 20 was, we have a saying, a lot of us have a saying where every part work has that issue. And I thought that issue was issue 19. It's the issue that's really complicated. With the Spitfire, it's getting all the valves in. And it's really hard and really long and really fiddly. I think it was either 19 or 20, I thought was that issue with the fire truck. No, it actually turned out to be issue 21. I did 1 stage, wasn't a hard stage, 2-hour long video. It's absolute nightmare. But again, I don't know if the problems were my doing. I have made some silly mistakes along the way. I stuck some of the steps on upside down, and I think I've done this classic thing where I've admitted to myself I am a good part worker. that's then made me sloppy and complacent because oh, I'm good, I can just do no problems and just get on with it. So I've kind of had to take a step back and go, yeah, actually I am all right, but I'm not that good. So I have to just double check. So yeah, the fire truck is I've actually got all the way up to issue 37. I've only filmed up to issue 21, and I've got a load more issues on the way. So yeah. So Eddie Stobart, that's been going at the rate of 2 issues a week. I'm quite happy with that. I'm in the process. I've kind of run out of money at the moment because of my desk. But excuse me a sec, my throat's getting dry. I am 2 deliveries behind because of when I started the Eddie Stobart. But just like other part works I've done, I was just plodding along. I was going to do 2 issues a week until I catch up. Harshette have told me that I can actually pay extra and get a catch-up bundle. So I will do that. So the last pack that came, issue 19, 20, 21, and 22, I looked at and I thought, do you know what? 22 is the start of the engine, and 19, 20, and 21 look quite simple. So I bundled those 3 issues into one video, and then I'm not going to start filming 22 until I see the next 4 issues, and they do look like they're going to be fairly simple. And I thought, new stage of the build, new video. That, you know, rather than doing a video and go, oh, this is this bit and then this bit, let's start the engine. And I'm looking at, I mean, I've not really looked at the engine, and I know the Eddie Stobarts were nice clean models because they were cleaned every day. But obviously I've got these oil paints and I'm looking at that engine and I'm like, shall I weather it? And I went and had a word with our mechanics at my bus depot, and I just sort of got chatting to them, and I said to them, this is actually an independent conversation, but it all fits in. And I said, I must admit, I do like our buses because they're nice and clean every day, and you get in there with a pressure washer and do the wheels. So all the exterior is nice. I said, I bet the engines are filthy though, aren't they? And they went, no, we steam clean the engines every 28 days. And I thought, oh, I wonder if that's what Eddie Stobart do. They're not going to clean the engines every day because it's just going to be too time consuming. So I thought, let's weather up the Eddie Stobart engine so that it looks about 28 days old. So I'll do a little bit of light panel washing with oils on that one. So yeah, we'll see how I get on. And the beauty of the engine is that if I do muck it up, we just won't lift the bonnet up. If anybody says, yeah, that's a really nice model, does this lift up? And I'll go, no, don't touch that bit. That stays down there. So yeah, we'll see how the Eddie Stobart goes. That then takes us to Friday, which is the F14 day. As I say, I've messed that one up. I've messed it up to the point that's going to be about 400 videos before I catch that one up. But once those that were on my last live stream knows that what I aim to do is, if you classify all of my aircraft by the era and the country, I obviously F-14 is a US Navy Cold War, so I want to sort of move away from that. And everybody has decided for me that the Mosquito is going to be the next build. And then what I think I might do is give you guys a choice of 3 models. One I will pick, and the other 2 will be picked by you. And then when a model gets picked, we'll do that one, and then maybe we'll have a short list of 2 or 3 models to join that vote. But that's probably sounds too complicated. Right, so Saturdays, I've just started modeling on a budget. I've been umming and ahhing about it, whether or not to cancel it. And unfortunately, I missed it. I was working and I'm like, oh, no, it's gone out live. So basically what I've done is I've set a budget of £40 a week, and I've gone out and I bought some bits and bobs, just the basic stuff for modeling, and I bought a kit and I've got on with it. And I made really good progress in the first week, which you are going to see in June. I think I made quite a lot of progress. So in the next video, I've said, oh, I'll do this weekly because I can do a little bit of progress. Unfortunately, I've then sat down, I've looked at my work, and I don't know where I went wrong, but it's absolutely awful. I've got brush strokes left, right, and center, which is probably because I've not thinned my paints enough, which if you watch the first video, you'll see how much they need thinning anyway. These little Airfix Humbrol paints that you get with the starter kits, you basically, I was lucky, I got 4 workable paints, but you get this little blob of paint in the bottom that's thick as anything. It's like a piece of tar. And then you just keep adding water and thin it and thin it and thin it. But because I'm on a budget, what I really want to do is get in there and get some thinners in there. But the thinners, I haven't bought any thinners with the budget. So I've thinned them with water. And then obviously I've got no primer. So if I thin them too much, it's going to, the paint's going to split. So it's not going to stick. And it's caused me problems. And I'm hoping that the way I can fix it is to get some real fine sandpaper, which I have bought, give it a light rub, give it another coat of paint, a little light rub. But to be honest with you, with work, in a couple of weeks' time, I'm changing my job. So I'm going to be doing coach driving. So I think my rota is going to be 4 days on, 4 days off. But it could be more days on and it could be less days off. And I'm just worried because my job, instead of at the moment, just like 99% of the population, I go to work, I do my job, I come home, I sleep, I then go to work. So I come home every day. My job is going to be driving a coach down to London, staying in a hotel, then driving back the next day. So I don't get that hour of downtime at home after work. I only get it every other day. So that could cause more problems. So what I'm going to do, and this came about, I've been buying, where I've not finished this, I've got a pokey out nail. I've been buying little kits that are broken. And like this is Eurofighter. And I've cut this bit off and then I've cut a hole down there. And I'm going to use this as a demo for when I come to do filling gaps. And it's going to show you the different way. So I'm going to put a piece of plastic card on there. And this bit, I'm going to use a bit of stretch sprue. And this bit, I'll use a bit of putty. You know, I'll just show you the different ways. And it just kind of got me going. And I put a couple of adverts out on Facebook. Basically, I'm looking for cheap, incomplete kits. Can anyone help me? And I bought some really good kits for not much money. And I just suddenly thought, do you know what? This is a great idea. So I'm going to be altering the modeling on a budget just ever so slightly. Instead of having a budget to do it, I'm actually going to go out and do it as cheaply as I can. So it then means I can use all my equipment that I've got. And every time I use equipment that costs money, I'll explain how you can do it for cheaper. So obviously if I say, right, well, I did this with my airbrush, but you could just as easily do it with a paintbrush. So let me give you a very good example. We're going to play a little bit of a quiz. So I bought 2 models, 2 subject matters that I have never done before and always wondered if I could give it a go. So this is a US wrecker truck, right? And it is partly completed. Box lid don't want to come off. Now, my theory on this is the guy started to put it together and the wheels would turn, but they just fell off. And I looked at the instructions, and he had stuck the wheels together. Now, if you don't look at the instructions properly, it looks like you have to stick the wheels together, put a little tab in, put a little tab in there, stick the wheels together, and then put the wheel on. And then when I looked at instructions again, I realized what you'd actually do is you put that wheel on, then stick the tab on, then stick this wheel over the top to cover it. So I think the guy's given up because he maybe has wrecked it. And then with the package, I got this. And the way he described it, I had no idea what it was until it arrived. And this is still in its packaging. Now, does anyone like to guess how much I paid for this? And I will give you a clue. The retail price of this is about £70, 70. So this, I'm guessing I haven't looked the price up on this, but this can't be less than 30 or 40. Have a guess how much I paid. And I will leave that with you just for a minute. Let me do a catch up with the chat. So Fabulous Penny with the shading. Sounds like he needs a hug. Right, here we go. He's a loon. Right, yay. Hobby Shop just called my oh, wonderful. Lancaster Bomber. So if anybody's interested, I don't know if you guys are subscribed to the same channel as I have. Ice Queen is doing a group build Lancaster, and I'm even tempted myself. And basically this is a very low time limit on it, and sorry, low time limit as in long time limit. I think she said there's no finish, but everyone's building Lancasters. So now her Facebook page is full up of pictures of Lancasters, and it's great. And I love to see people all come together. It's why I like group builds. I was going to take part in a Gulf War group build, but all these little groups I'm part of, they're all doing group builds, and I could easily end up doing 10 group builds. So, but it's nice. So that's the board. That board. Do you know what? I don't know what to think about that board of models Lancaster. It's really, really, really expensive, and it's not the scale that I build in. But oh boy, isn't it brilliant? So if anyone's Google it, board of models Lancaster. It's I think it's about 600 quid, but honestly, it's one of the best models. I've been watching Nigel's modeling workbench, and it is absolutely, this guy knows models, and he's been doing this Lancaster for many videos, and each video is like, oh my God, look at that, you know. So if you can surprise an old hand like that, it's brilliant. So right, scale model, hell no. Got the Airfix one and also Rebel. Love the Lancaster. Each project is a lovely journey. Absolutely spot on. You don't know what's going to happen, but when you get to the end, it's like, wow. I've done a few planes, so I thought I'd try the Lanc too. So the guesses are coming in now. 15 quid, 25 quid. Oh, a Loco. Big boy, 25. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I paid £20 for these posted. So there's two projects there for, okay, one of them is already started, and I've got to take it back a bit and then take it forward. But I think that's just as good a budget as anything else. So Ice Queen says, thank you, Penny. Not a problem. You know, it's what we do. If we see something good, promote it. And I think that's worth promoting. I mean, like I say, there's another group doing the Gulf War build, which I have actually bought something for that. So let me show you another model I managed to get cheap, and I just got caught. Do you know what? I'm always moaning because I don't have enough cable on the headphones. So up until yesterday, I couldn't stand up any higher than this because that's how much cable I had. And I got a USB extension. And now my cable's so long, it's wrapping around everything. So it's from one thing to the other. So this model, if I can find it. Do you know what? I saw that this morning and now it's disappeared. Where's that gone? Oh, this is what happens. Oh, here it is. It's right in front of me. Right in front of me. So when I was a kid, I was a cadet. And my stepfather worked for the RAF. So he was able to take me to RAF Coltshaw. And now at school, we would get 20 minutes in a chipmunk every term. And that was how much flying air experience flights we would get. And I loved it. Every half term and end of term holiday, my stepfather would take me to work and I could get an hour or two flying. So like when the summer holidays came and all the ATC students were there, I was like, they were getting 20 minutes and I would go straight to the front of the queue, jump the queue, into a chipmunk, 2 hours flying, lovely, all in the logbook. But one of the best experiences I had at the time, they had 202 Squadron. They had search and rescue helicopters at just about every airfield. I think they moved them all now to one central place. But the guys in the Sea King, they took me up. I got 2-3 hour flight. They took me to the beach. They dumped me off at the beach. They couldn't dump me in the sea because obviously health and safety, I probably could have frozen to death. But what they did is they dumped me on one of the sand dunes. They disappeared for 10 minutes, come back, did a pretend rescue. So I went up in the winch and everything. And I can't find it in 1:48 scale, but I've managed to find this. It's a 1:72 Airfix. Now, the only thing is, it is part built. But when I say part built, there's two things wrong with it. And it is, he started the cockpit. I say he, it could have been a she. Let's not be sexist here. And the pilots were in it, but I picked the pilots off. Anything with rotors or propellers or anything like that, I tend to build static on the ground because I can't do all these pretending things go wrong. The other thing wrong with it is someone's obviously had a whoopsie moment because they've stuck the glass in, and you even with my badly focused camera, you can see that there's been a whoops moment with the glue there. So I'm going to look at repairing that, maybe get rid of that glass and try to put something else in. Maybe I'll call it scratch build, but on the plus, I got a free stick with it. So, but any guesses on how much that cost, including postage? Hasegawa. Oh, lovely. So Harry, no, it's the German one. And Hasegawa. Yeah, there was, right. I think I can do a conversion using decals and aftermarket parts, I think. But I know Hasegawa did do one. I hate you lot. You guys, has anybody seen, I've forgotten his bloody name now. There's a comedian. Oh, what's his name? The Glaswegian comedian. And there was a sketch he did. He said, oh, Scottish people go to London and they're all shocked by the price. And he goes, and they come up to you and they go, guess how much we paid for a pint? And he says, right, so the way they say this, you know that they're flabbergasted by how much it's cost. So the way that you kind of destroy them is going way too high. So you say, someone comes up to you and say, oh, guess how much we paid for 2 pints? You'll go, I don't know, 45 quid. And then they'll go, oh, well, no, we paid 20 quid. It looks like you got a bargain. And that's exactly what you guys are doing to me. I'm going, oh, guess how much? So you know I paid cheap, but you all gone in low. But yeah, I paid 8 quid for that Sea King. So although I'm going to be using all the equipment I've got, I think it kind of fits in with the budget. I mean, I've got a model there that's cost me 90 quid. And that doesn't really fit in with the budget. But if you're a little bit short of money, I appreciate not everybody works, not everybody is able to work. You know, some of you guys are like 14 years old, and you know your only income is maybe from a paper round or a Saturday job at the record store or something. Whereas some people have worked so hard there in their lives and they're now retired that they've got a bigger pension than I could possibly earn if I work every hour in the day. You know, everybody's different. But what I call a budget is sort of 10, 20 quid, you see. So I thought it'll still fit in within the idea of a budget with a little bit of extra work. I've just found some kits on eBay within the idea of a budget. Why has with a little bit of extra work? I've just found some kits on eBay. Sorry, bear with me a sec. I have an echo coming. Sorry, bear with me a sec. I have an echo. There we go. I think my browser just opened up my YouTube stream. So I was hearing my stream come through. I have it on in the background, but I normally have it on mute. But I think it opened up another window. So that was really weird. Technical difficulties, we'll put that down as. Yeah, so I love minis, £1. But yeah, actually, that's what I was going to say. So there's loads of kits on eBay, 1 to 48 scale. I think they're badly described. The title just says model kit, which says absolutely nothing. And you've got to look at the picture. You do have to look at the picture more than the description. And I wonder if, they're like £4.50 delivery each. And I messaged the person and I said, you do combined postage? And she went, yeah, we'll charge you whatever we'll send it by Royal Mail and we will charge you whatever the postage is. So, you know, I could probably pick up £5 postage for one, probably pick up 10 kits for £10 postage. And at the moment, it's they're all gone. They're starting bid of 99p. So, you know, if I can pick them up for a £5 each or less, you know, some of them, one of them has already gone way above, but they're all things like Russian jets and weird, you know, stuff that I would never even consider doing. So it's, you know, the cheap kits are out there. It's just that obviously the easy way to do stuff is to go on to Amazon and go, there it is, bang, let's buy it. If you want to save a bit of money, it's like holidays and things, isn't it? The more research you put in, the more money you can save. And I think you can sustain this hobby really, really cheap. Even my airbrush, I hear people going on about airbrushes, the more, you know, the better. The Chinese ones aren't any good. I disagree. This is an Iwata. And it came as standard with was an Iwata Anest. Hang on, let me read it. Iwata Revolution CR. Now, I don't know where that sits in the world of Iwata airbrushes, but it came with a basic to intermediate kit, starter kit. And I think it was about 200-300 quid for the compressor and that. I also bought. I watched a video on YouTube. This airbrush cost me £15, and it's a cheap Chinese one, and it came with 3 needles. My Iwata came with a 0.5 needle. This is currently fitted with a 0.2 needle. And the first thing I did was I removed the needle. I wrapped a load of masking tape round one end, and I stuck it in a Dremel, and I got I've forgotten what the stuff is called, but the stuff you get for polishing chrome on cars, or Auto Sol, is it? Something like that. It's a metal polish. Put some on a cloth, put the needle in, stick the Dremel on full, and just sit there polishing the needle for about 5 minutes. And it's the needle is absolutely brilliant. I've been using this airbrush now for about 3 or 4 years, 3 years, and I love it. The only issue I have is because it's a 0.2 needle, it does tend to clog up easier than this one, and I think that's primarily because of the needle. I do use this the most. Auto Sol, that's it, yeah. I do use this the most, the Iwata, because it's a little bit simpler to clean. The trigger mechanism, it comes in, you've got a little tiny tag, and it has to be placed in just the right way. Whereas with this, it's all built in with a trigger. So I use this because it's easier to clean. I'm like everyone else, I hate cleaning airbrushes. But again, I've had to spend probably about an hour setting the airbrush up. Whereas the Iwata, I could open the box, plug it in, and away I go. So again, if you want to do the work, having said that, I'm now in the market for another airbrush. I'm looking at that Iwata Custom, but it's like 400 or 500 quid. So I want to do a 1:48 Sea King. I've done one. It's a great kit. I will remember that. Smith Speed says Billy Connolly couldn't get more wrong than Billy Connolly. He's more. Oh, he is Glaswegian, isn't? Is he Glaswegian or is he Edinburgh way? I don't know. Anyway. So Love Mins. Is that a different account you've got there? And my neck tanked. So P40. Yeah. See, again, when I bought that airbrush, I was pretty much blindly following the advice of other people because I didn't know better. So someone would come up to me and say, oh, you need to buy an Iwata. So I'm like, yes, I need to buy an Iwata. I have since learned to say, why do I need an Iwata? But I know to be absolutely honest with you, it's only in the last 6 months that I now know the difference between an Iwata and a Chinese one. 3 years ago, you could give me the cheapest airbrush and the most expensive, and I wouldn't know the difference because you don't know how to use them. So obviously now I know how to use an airbrush, and now I'm starting to get details in with things like panel lining and just trying to get in small detail. Now I'm starting to understand. So Auto Sol, yes. Sean Locke, definitely not Sean Locke. Procon Boy are bomb proof. I'm gonna write that down because I have never heard of Procon. So I will write that down. There's another one I've heard of lately. I don't know if they're a new brand. Steiner Beck, something like that. A lot of the pro figure painters use that one. So I can't what it is. If I say Steiner Beck, I'm sure someone will know what I'm talking about, and then they'll post, and then we'll see just how wrong I've got it. Right, so guys, I can't think of anything else to talk about now. Yes, I have actually run out of things. So obviously, but what's quite Kevin Bridges, that was it. Kevin Bridges. I'll tell you what, a story. That's it. Harder and Steinbeck. Now I'm hearing that they are brilliant airbrushes. They do come with a price tag. And I don't know how that price tag compares to the quality of the brush. And as you know, if you spend twice as much on an airbrush, it doesn't mean you get twice as good an airbrush. This is one of the arguments I have with brushes. So what you need to watch out for is not the airbrush in general, but the cost of the parts for repairs. Another good reason to buy a Chinese one, because you can buy the whole thing. For 15 quid, I got an airbrush and 2 spare needles. Whereas the Iwata, it's one needle. So yeah, the if you, especially if you talk to the figure painters, they will tell you the best paint brushes are Winsor and Newton. I forget which series, but it's Winsor and Newton, and they are about £15 a brush. These are the brushes I use, and I will show you their sticker because it's easier to use, easier to read. That's the company I go for. I'm making no money from this. I'm telling you because I think they're brilliant. The advice you get is fantastic, and they do a set of brushes. They're series 33. They are Kolinsky Sable. I've been using this particular brush for about 3 years, and it cost me a £5. And I honestly, genuinely believe that it's as good as a Winsor & Newton for 15. I have got bad news for you, Love Minis. Sexy brushes no more. These used to be my brushes of choice. These are series 98, and these are just sable. But since I discovered Kolinsky Sable, I absolutely love them. So these now become base brushes, and my Kolinsky Sables become my absolute fine detail. The point you get on the end is I can paint with a number 2 brush the same quality as I can paint with a 0 brush, because that point, it's like painting, you know, the thickness of the number 2, but you can get that point down to the equivalent of about a 0. It's absolutely amazing brushes, and I've got some nice oil brushes, and I found these. I love these brushes because people look at them and go, what? So I got these from Poundland. Now, I think these are absolutely brilliant for mixing colours in an airbrush, because they've got, these are remember the kids' brushes you give them to the kids for water paints. Because these are plastic nylon brushes, absolutely nothing sticks to them. So they're really good for mixing. And the other day I was doing some airbrushing, and I mixed the paint up, and then I put brush down, and I forgot about it, and it completely clogged up. The paint dried on it, and I kid you not, I swished it in. I've got one of these for a paint pot, and it's got, I love this because it's got all little bubbles in the bottom. It's called a paint puck, and it's got little bubbles in the bottom, and it agitates the. Now I'm not kidding you. I had a brush with dried on paint, and I went like that, and I lifted it out, and all the paint had come off. That's how bad these are for brushing, but they're absolutely fantastic for agitate. And these I find are really good for cleaning. So if you ever find yourself in a pound shop, you can get 5 of these and 2 of these in a pack for £1, and they're brilliant. So and here I am, I'm doing my hobby cheating video for paintbrushes on a live stream. So but again, you know, you don't always get what you pay for. Sometimes you get more than you pay for. So yeah, so Lamini says, I've been working on finding a plastic V8 motor. No luck so far. Okay, I'm sure we can have a hunt. Don't know if it'll work. Yeah, so again, brushes, again, that's what I say about the hobby cheating. You can find the same thing. I meant to say, actually, in the time I've done this stream, if you look out the window, it's gone dark. It was daylight when I started the stream. I actually feel like I'm in Pretty Woman, because if you stand on my balcony, you can't see it from here, but you've got the Ramada Jarvis Hotel in the distance, and they have a big red light sign come up, and you can see it in the distance. And if you sit on the balcony, it's like that scene from Pretty Woman. It's not quite, but it's not quite that sophisticated, but it's fun. Yeah. So If the airbrush lasts 3 years with the original nozzle and needle, cost is a moot point. Yeah, but does that not depend on how much you use it? I've used my airbrush. I've had my airbrush, what, 4 years? And I probably used it less in total than a pro would use it in 2 months. So obviously you get these guys where making figures and models is their full-time job, whereas I use the airbrush maybe, well, now I'm back into scale model and making stuff. I'm using it maybe an hour a week, an hour every 2 weeks. So would you expect my airbrush to last longer? But one of them I had caked in paint for about 6 months, and then I had to soak it in Medina Airbrush Cleaner. It's the only thing that could get it out, because it was absolutely caked. Would have made a really good video on how to clean your airbrush. Take the challenge to the limit. So but yeah, this is something I say, if you get an airbrush for 100 quid and it lasts you a year, and then you replace that with an airbrush that costs you £200, and that airbrush lasts you 3 years, is it a more expensive airbrush? My argument is it's a cheaper airbrush. It's kind of, you know, the more you pay, if you get the quality, it lasts longer. So anyway, I could chat for days on total crap, really, couldn't I? Like I say, I can't think of anything else to add. I still got a lot to do on the desk, but I've got a fully functioning desk. The next job, I've got the paint for it. I am going to paint the worktop purple, and then I'm going to paint it with, I'm going to change the drawer color. I did have it blue, and I've got all the blue. And to paint these, the paint I've got, it's only emulsion paint, but I found that I can go 2 coats. One coat just kind of soaks in, then you put another coat, and then you put gloss varnish on the top. And where I've applied the gloss a bit thickly, it's all kind of dribbled in the corner. But the other day I was in Poundland, and I've got a couple of drawers that don't need, and I found this, but I don't know why I just shook it. I'm not going to spray it, but I found this for £1 a can, white gloss spray paint. So I'm going to get one of the pieces of MDF, and I'm going to give it a quick spray with the gloss white, and if it turns out okay, I'm going to just redo all of the drawers in gloss white, because that's 2 coats of paint and a varnish all in one go, isn't it? So I think that could save me a lot. It might not be cheaper, but it's certainly a lot quicker. And then the other plan I've got, you see here, this is actually my old cutting mat, which I flipped over. So I've got this clean side up. This next statement is going to please P40F20, because he always complains that I don't put a towel down. I am going to be making 2 more. I can't do, you'll see this, but you'll see that I've got a little border all around, and I've done it so that there's a little gap by the side. So as you can see, I can take this mat out, and I'm making 2 more boards. One is going to be a piece of thin plywood, which is going to have a piece of felt stuck to it. And that's going to be my Partwork Models board. And it's probably, hopefully it's going to have a couple of little bits on it, but primarily it's going to be felt covered, because P40F20 is always complaining that I do my Partwork Models and I put it on my cutting board, and I should know this, but if I should push the model, it could scratch the paint. So he says, always put a towel down. So I'm going to have a piece of plywood with a piece of felt on it. And then I'm going to do another one, which I'm trying to sort of work the design out, but I'm going to make a collapsible spray booth, because I use acrylics and I use a respirator. I don't think I really need the extraction. The amount I spray, I don't need the extraction. But obviously, I want to protect everything on my desk from the overspray. So I've been using a cardboard box, which has done the job very well. But I just want to make a board with a collapsible. It'll just be a couple of bits of board, which will maybe stick together with elastic bands. And then at the end of the video, I can just pick it all up. I can put it down there, store it away, and then I've got the worktop based on the job that I'm doing. So that's another job I'm doing. But for now, I've got this mat. I've got a brand new one here, and I've got a small A4 sized one. So I can cut this one up if I need to, and if I want if I want one like the part work one, if I want mostly felt with a little bit of cutting mat on it, because cutting mat's always handy if you need to cut anything. That's the whole point of a cutting mat, really, isn't it? So yeah, there's that to do. But yeah, painting is the next job and getting all the drawers done. So yeah, so right, see where we're up to. Is it this one? The airbrush, right. So I was using it 24/7 and chucking Vallejo through it. Right, you say chucking Vallejo through it, as that comes across to me like Vallejo will damage it more than other paints. Is that the case? Is that the worst paint to use for airbrushes? So Harry Mark, if you have it and drop it after 5 minutes, use it as a lot of people do, or strip threads. Yes, that's an important bit. Every time I clean my airbrush, I put a tiny drop of iWater lube. As you can see, that I put so little on, I've hardly used any. And then what I do is, so I put one tiny drop of lube on the threads, and then I thread it about 1/3 of the way, then I unthread it, then I go up about 2/3, and then back down, and then I'd fully do it, and then undo it, and then back to spread that lube. And I know I don't need to put that much lube on it. I probably need to do it once every 6 months or so. But I find that no, that's airbrush cleaning, not airbrush. So you'll see that my end, it just comes off so smoothly, and everything apart from in there, I tried to avoid the lube in there. But yeah, it's so like most things, if you look after things, they will last longer. And I suspect the guys that are doing painting for money will probably look after their airbrush even better than I do, because it is their livelihood. So learnt my lesson with iWater's Neos. So Vallejo, I will never use that crap again. It's full of polyurethane. The Vallejo air clear clogs up your airbrush. I've heard that. I'm a tight ass, so the reason I don't use Vallejo air is because isn't that just model color thinned down? So if I buy Vallejo model color and thin it down, I end up with half price Vallejo air. That's the way I see it. But I do use model color, and I do quite like it. I don't know if I've airbrushed it. And you guys are welcome to shout at me if you want, but my paint of choice now is AK Interactive. I bought a set of it because they have got these sets of actual formulated colors. And my theory is, if you're going to weather aircraft, does it actually matter if you haven't got the exact shade, like this F-14? If it's a tiny bit too bright, by the time I chuck a load of black oil on it, does it actually matter anyway? But it means that I can do a consistent color. I can look at the model, it does the color call outs, and I'm just going to completely ignore that and use my AK Interactive. But having used AK Interactives, I think it's a good paint for me. I know some people will go, I use it, I don't get on with it, but I think it's good paint. So AK Interactives is going to be my paint of choice. Oh, you've cottage cheese and airbrush. Well done. You will have a house full of dust spraying without a proper spray booth. I know that myself. Yeah, I knew someone would disagree with that. The amount of airbrushing I do, I normally, I mean, saying that, you might be right, because I was over there before and I had the windows, and I've got the can you see that door there that leads out to my balcony? Yeah, good point. I've rethought that now because I'm now in the corner of the room. So yeah, love minis. Oh yeah, sexy brush. So when I was on Twitch, Watercolors sent me. I was buying a lot of the Watercolors. This is when Watercolors were quite new, and everyone was saying, "Oh, Watercolors are terrible." Now I've learned, especially from Love Minis, she will tell you that. I suspect I'm no different from anyone else, but the first time I use a product, I may not like it, but I will keep trying it and trying it. And I'll use it maybe 3 or 4 times, because sometimes the reason you don't like it is because you're not using it right. You know, if you paint, you buy 100 pots of paint and this is how you paint. Suddenly you get a different paint and you paint, you're actually painting wrong. And Watercolors they're gel based, and you can't, they're quite opaque, and they're gel, and you cannot use them in the same way you use normal paints. But once you learn to use them, they are absolutely amazing. I wouldn't recommend them for aircraft because of they're quite transparent. But if you're using them, airbrush is very, very good. I did the wings of a bloodthirster, and what I did was I built the color up, a very dark color on the inside and a light color on the outside. And what I was able to do was blend the colors in over 3 or 4 coats of paint, and they blend absolutely beautifully. So I think I was one of the few people that were really supportive of Watercolors, and the guy was really supportive of me, and I'll never forget, he gave me a few freebies. I did a 24-hour birthday stream, which I am not doing a 24-hour stream tomorrow, but I did a 24-hour stream and I made it. 24 hours I was awake, and I did a few competitions, and there was a couple of Watercolor stuff that I gave away, and that was a good day. But yes, we have all it was it's a nice brush, and it's got a nice clear acrylic handle, and it looked sexy basically. So that's why we call it that. So I have a bench vent, yeah, so I'm now going to have to think about that. Even if I have a fan in the corner pointing towards the window, I think, yeah, I'll have to think about that. Tried cottage cheese with Revel Aquacolor and Mr. Hobby leveling thinner. Didn't go quite as I planned. I want to test the theory, like Mr. Hobby leveling thinner. Is that just thinners with extra drying retarder in it? Because what I've been taught is, especially with an airbrush, you thin the paint, it's going to dry quicker. Now, with an airbrush, because of the way that the air is coming through, it's going to dry it even quicker. And one of the issues you get with airbrushing is the paint is drying in the nozzle, and then you end up with splatter. And then we say about things like the Humbrol paints, thin them, otherwise you get brush marks. And the reason it levels is because it's drying slower. Obviously the paint goes on like that, doesn't it, because of the brush marks. But because it's not drying, it then settles down. So is Mr. Hobby leveling thinner? Is that just thinners that have got extra retarder medium on? In which case, why not just do an ordinary thinner? You know, I said about my own thinners, I put a little bit extra retarder in. So is that effectively Mr. Hobby leveling thinner? I don't know. That's, you know. So color shades don't matter because you weather the mod. Yes. Obviously, you don't want to put a black onto a grey or an orange onto a yellow. But yeah, I just wondered if you know, if it's not the exact, and I'm talking rivet counter level here, you know, if you require 36400 and you put 36450 on, does it really matter? And I think you pretty much said no, it doesn't matter. Cottage cheese goes well with salad cream, not with SLT. In most cases, aircraft, especially heavy, bleached by weather or terrain conditions, sun, sea, and sand. Yes. So to bring the SPAD back, where I have the panel lines are darker than the color call out, and the middle of the panel is lighter. So at what point is that the exact shade? And, you know, this will have the exact shade on it. It will sit on the aircraft carrier for 2 days. And now suddenly it's about 3 shades lighter than it was originally. Anyone who parks a car in the sun will know that. Chris Davis World. Hi, Chris Davis. Lovely guy. Check his channel out. James Moore, tend to use lacquers and Tamiya acrylics now due to having a stroke. Okay, I'm a little bit scared of lacquers because of the cleaning process. The reason I've gone over to acrylics many years ago is because they're just so easy. If you watch my F14 video 1, there will be a little clip on there that says why I hate bottles, and then it goes to a clip. I do like to include my outtakes. I have a bottle of Tamiya khaki paint, and as I go to pick it up, I drop the paint and it goes all over my hobby, my cut and mat. And the very next scene, you will see that stain is gone. And that's because I hit the stop button on the camera. I got loads of kitchen towel and loads of cleaners and loads of thinners. And within about 30 seconds, it was gone. Except that I wasted enough paint to paint about 4 aircraft. So, yeah, so self-leveling thinners has a retarder. I wondered if that was my theory. So basically, I have made my own self-leveling thinner by putting extra retarder medium in and flow improver. So you get MLT, hasn't got retarder in it. That's why it's called leveling thinner. Yeah, that was what I thought. Right, Mr. Hobby leveling thinner is the best I've ever used. You can use it to thin acrylic paints. Do you know what? On the basis of that, P40, every time you've said to me to buy something, it's been worth buying, with the exception of this bleeding stuff you told me to buy. Micro mask. I didn't know it was water soluble. I had trouble with Maskol. It's made an absolute mess on the F14. But I might be able to use it. I've got this. Let me show it. Let me switch my camera and I can show you the problem I've got. So this is my F14 that I'm doing, and that isn't awful, but it could be a lot better. It needs a bit of tidy up. But that, not only is it awful, it's pulled all the paint off, but the arc doesn't even match this side. So I've got this theory. What I'm going to do is when this is finished, I'm going to put Maskol on it, and then I'm going to remove the Maskol and then I'm going to put masking tape or some kind of tape on, and I'm going to copy this line, and then I'm going to cut that masking tape. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the mask hole that I've not the mask hole, but the other bit that I'm going to place that onto the masking tape and then cut it. Then I'm going to flip it over, place it on this side, and that should act as a mask for this side. That's my theory, and I've probably explained that really, really complicated. And there's my bleaching on it. Needs a lot of work to it. There's a few places where it's quite splotchy, but that's essentially I think there's a little bit too much there. That I think looks more like I was a bit heavy on the airbrush rather than sun faded, but it's not an awful attempt. I don't think it's not great. I'm not ready for the international scale model show yet, but I'm getting there, I think. I don't know if I want to enter competitions, but then I watched a video that I completely agree with, which is it's good to enter competitions because it gets you learning things. So if I entered a competition next year and I came last, and I get feedback off the judges and they say, oh, you've got a bit of overspray there and a bit of spidering there, then obviously I take that feedback away, and then the next year I enter a competition and I finish, say, 5th from last. Well, that's an improvement, isn't it? So finishing 5th from last when you finished last the previous year, that's good, isn't it? Isn't that as good as someone who finished 2nd last year winning it this year? I don't know. Drying retarder paint dries paint faster. I thought using retarder slows the drying time down, which can leave a slightly rough surface. Not all acrylics can be thinned. Right. Okay. I didn't. Actually, I'll agree with that, because what is it? Help me out, love minis. Do you remember those metallic paints? Dark Star. I got some Dark Star paint. Is it Dark Star? Something dark something or another. So I got these paints. I think it was the bronze set, and I thinned them with water, and they just went. So I thinned them with an alcohol-based thinner, and they thinned beautifully. Absolutely lovely. So Dark Star do not thin with water. So likewise, it figures that if you can't thin some with water, maybe some you can't thin with alcohol. I know the Citadel paints are designed to be thin with water. They do thin better with alcohol, but they're designed to be thin with water because they're designed to be brush painted. So Lovemini says AK 3rd generation is supposed to be good. Yeah, I'm not like advanced level. I consider myself intermediate, but I'd say they're good paints. I'd say they're better than a Vallejo model color. Saying that, I do love my Vallejo metal color, and all my metallics I do with Vallejo metal color. I know, is it Alclad do the best ones, but for acrylics I think they're the best. I have bought this, which is the AK Extreme Metal, but that is a lacquer based. But if I can get away with acrylics, I will use these. I absolutely love them. They come in bigger bottles and they're more expensive, but they say airbrush ready, but they can actually be thinned. And me with my mediocre skills can produce things like that, which you can't see too well because they're in a plastic bag, but I am rather pleased with that effort. But they go on nice and smooth, so that's all I'm after. Right, so P40 F20 F14s do get very blotchy. Fair enough. I think most carrier-based aircraft, with the exception of one particular squadron, I was doing some research. I can't remember which squadron it is, but there's one squadron. They're known for keeping their F-14s very clean. So I might actually try and get one of their aircraft, and I'll do that just so I can keep it cleaner. It'd be nice to have a really blotchy one and a really clean one. But they're still going to get sun bleached, aren't they? And obviously, the new challenge for me now is when I do a more modern US Navy aircraft that's grey all over, obviously I'm going to have to sun bleach the top half a little bit more than the bottom half, because the bottom half is going to get mucky, whereas the top half is going to get more sun bleached. So, but this is a new area for me, is the weathering. So aqua color, is that aqua color as in the Revels? Because I thought they could be thin with water. And Harry Marwick says aqua color can be thin with water. Okay. No, any acrylic without a flammable symbol on the pot, SLT, tends to be cottage cheese time. I'll tell you something funny. I went to WH Smith's to buy some oil paint. Because they're so expensive, I could only afford to buy one. And this woman, she told me, yeah, this particular brush, it's definitely an oil brush. And this is your oil paint. And I thought, lovely. And I got back and I put some of this in a pot and I put some water, white spirits in, and I'm trying to mix it up. The thing will not mix. Absolutely, well, I'm mixing it harder and harder, and it's just not working. And then I had a closer look at the tube, and I found out why it won't mix. I know I can't get the focus, but you can clearly see it says Galleria Acrylic. So that's why it won't mix with white spirits. So I bought these, a set of 24 from Castle Arts. I won't buy these again because they only sell them in 64 tubes, or they sell them in 24 sets of 24. So I emailed them and I said, well, where can I get? They give you this chart with all of the colors on them. And I said, oh, where can I buy this color from? Oh, no, we don't sell them individually. I said, well, what's the point then? So these are slowly going to get replaced with probably because what confused me with the Windsor and Newton ones is they do 3 standards. They do a student, and then they do a good one, and they do a medium one. And I watched the video, and it's all to do with the amount of pigment and the amount of oil and the amount of filler. And obviously the student one has got more oil and the top one has got less filler in it. And I'm like, oh, which one do I get? And then, but for scale modeling, it doesn't matter, because you leach out the oil and you're left with the pigment, and that's all you need is the pigment, and you're using so little of it, so it's not so bad. Right, guys, so I have been streaming for 2.5 hours, which might be a record shortest stream ever, but I'm going to think about moving. Harry Malk, I use it for mainly super metallics, but they do stink. Oh, is that the extreme? I did notice that, but I wouldn't at the moment. I'm not ready to put this through my airbrush because you know what? I don't think I've opened it. I have opened it. Yeah, it has. It's got a nice smell. It's not a horrible smell, but it is definitely a smell. And I tell you what I did do. I bought some ammonia, and I bought it for Airbrush Cleaner. Excuse me. And I don't know why I do this. I hopefully this is normal. But anytime you open anything, you have a little tiny whiff, don't you? You know, even like the PVA glue, wood glue I've gotten. Yeah, that smells like PVA. And I opened this ammonia and I sniffed it, and it wasn't even like that sniff. It was like, and oh my God, it was like, it's like crazy cat lady's house who hasn't cleaned the cat litter trays out for 6 months, and she's got 58 cats. Oh, it was, oh God, that Jesus Christ, that did hit me hard. So yeah, I've got to get out of the habit of sniffing balls when I open them. I don't know why I would do that, but in all fairness, I had a really bad blocked nose. I didn't after sniffing that ammonia. So Harry says 21 and a half hours to go. Yeah, I'm not planning on doing I'm not planning on doing 24 hours. A Mount Linseed, you can treat a cricket bat. Yeah, is that with the oil paints? Yeah. The mad scientist effect. And Harry says, ha ha, you sniffer. Oh, we've got another eye. Yes, it was eye watering. Right, guys, I do need to go actually because I need to go to the toilet and I can't stream. And I know this headphone lead is long, but it's not quite that long. I'm going to show you something else. I've got another project on the go, and I've just glued up the top, but let me change my camera. I bought this about a year ago. It was this was actually my first attempt. The idea was doing the weathering on the inside, and this was on sale. This is the Italiari. Is it SH60? Let me cheat and read the label. It's the, no, I can't even cheat and read the label. SH60B Seahawk. It's the Italiari kit, and it was on sale for, I can't remember if it was 18 or 20 pounds. And I thought this would be absolutely ideal. For some reason, I can't seem to do helicopters well. And because it's cheap, I can afford to chuck it in the bin if it all goes wrong. So this is what I've done so far. This is actually, I've turned this into an experiment with oil paints. And I cannot decide if that is a complete and utter mess or brilliant. I'm kind of torn. So you guys can be honest and brutal with me. It is glossy at the moment because I've applied, well, again, I've applied the oils and I've applied the decals. I did apply the decals on matte, but the reason it was in the fuselage was because I've glued this top bit on. But yeah, that's what I've come up with. And I don't know. Is that a mess or is that really good? I can't decide. I tried to focus the mess where people would walk. So there's a seat there and a seat there, and then there's obviously the pilots go in there. So that's, and I don't know why my camera is doing that. Why is my camera jumping? Does anyone know? Maybe if I do that. That's a bit frustrating, isn't it? But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I like that or not. But I said that about the F14. I'm torn between absolutely perfect and oh my God, I've ruined it. I'll look at it and go, that's perfect, and then I'll look at it again and go, no, I don't like it. But that's not awful. Right, P40F20 says, I like it, good effort. Okay, I think that was a polite way of saying you've done well, but it's not great. But yeah, I've picked up a bit of detail on there, and you know, I know this bit isn't. See, I thought this would be a really good area to practice because once this is closed up, you can see that none of it's going to be seen. So that's probably the best. All that detail that's not going to be seen, I just thought that would be a great opportunity. And I am rather happy, but that's oil paints. That's my first ever effort with oil paint. But this is the idea of me doing these off camera, so I can just, but yeah, a little bit messy here and there, and yeah, I'm you know, I don't hate it. So, but yeah. So, but I think, yeah, Love Mini said Dark Star. Yeah, that was the name of the paints that don't mix. Well, I don't like this camera. I don't understand why that's doing this. There you go. I think that settled it down. Right, so let's go back. Eye-watering by Penny. Okay, take care, Plastic. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Looks like you picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue. Yeah. Lloyd Bridges, Pudding, Dark Star. I like it. Good effort. So that's fine. Looks okay to me. Nice. Hard for me to get. Yeah, because you're in America. Well, I know what to get you for Christmas now, don't I? So if anybody's got any spare AK on Mr. Hobbies, there's a beautiful, lovely lady in Iowa. Is it Iowa? I can't remember where. No, it's love. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, USA. Anyway, yeah. So that's the to quote. I've forgotten his name now. Will Patterson. The random mumblings of an idiot, really. So yeah, that's my little update and my little evening stream and test. I think the internet's okay, actually. Isn't it funny that 12 megabits on the BT isn't good, but 1112 on Virgin is good. So maybe another day I will try a little stream direct from OBS. That tends to sort of really hack at the internet a lot more. I'm using, as you can probably tell, I'm using StreamYard at the moment. And StreamYard seems to be really good on the resources, whereas OBS kind of takes it out of the computer a lot more. So that'll be a real hard test, I think. So Plastic Monkey, great show, Penny. Thank you very much. P40 says, love Minis. Andy's Hobby Headquarters. There we go. So yeah, right. So I'm now having to cross my legs. You'd think being a bus driver I'd be used to holding my crossing my legs, wouldn't you? But I think I'm getting a little bit older now, and I'm actually finding myself. I've got to that age now where I can't sleep all the night through. That's probably more information you needed to know. Right, guys. So thank you very much for watching the show. I really appreciate it. I honestly do. I appreciate the new guys that haven't watched my streams before popping in. Obviously, I hope to see you again. If you didn't really like the show, that's absolutely fine. I appreciate I'm not to everyone's taste. Some people absolutely love my show. Some people get totally wound up at the sight of me, and that's fine. Everybody has different tastes. So hopefully I'm going to be bringing some good stuff to the channel. Like I say, the main change is going to be that model budget. It's kind of doing it with the Spitfire. It's kind of putting me under a bit of pressure, and as a result, I'm not really enjoying it as much. So, and all the while I'm going, oh, I don't enjoy this. Maybe because I've been using an airbrush for so much. Maybe I've forgotten to use how to use a brush as much. But I think rather than doing a budget, I think I will try to do it as cheaply as possible. Do a bit of research. You know, when I'm on my lunch break on my buses, I can always go onto eBay and go, oh yeah, I just found this, and look for absolute bargains, because they are out there, as I found out. I've got something else to show you. I can't show you it today. I need to contact the guy because I forgot to thank him. I have a box full of models. Liberators, there's a lot of American stuff, Mustang in there. What it was one of the IPMS clubs. They made all these models, and I think it's just where they got damaged. So what they do, they're giving them to kids, and they're just a few kits they've got. And he's just put a load in a box, and he says, there you go, you can do whatever you want with them. And some of them look quite good and perhaps repairable. Some of them I might just like there's one I've got and it's beautifully painted but completely unweathered. So what I might do is cut the wing off, and then I can use that for one of my hobby cheating when I come to do weathering on it. So but yeah, I got that box for free. I mean, obviously they're already made and painted, but yeah, some really nice models on there. And I've got some great ideas coming to the channel. I can't wait to do them. So right, guys, I'm going to go. Right, I cannot remember what TMI mean, but I know TTFN means ta-ta for now. So thank, I don't know. I can't remember. I'll have to research it. Researching an abbreviation. I've also got to look up that Procon board. Right, guys, so I'm disappearing. Thank you very much. I'm going to show you one more view I've got before I go. And this is my overhead view. How good is that? This is my entire desk. When I come to do the pre-recorded videos, this is going to be on show, but it will be cropped. So what I'm planning is that you'll have this overhead view I'm trying to find, is there in the corner, and then all of this view will be my main overhead, because I want to show the two. When you do let me change it back, especially when you do part works, you want to be this view because you want to be showing whatever you're working on, but you may be fixing this part to a model that's like 4 foot, 3 foot long, not 4 foot, because that's nearly as big as me. But, you know, you might have a model the size of the desk, but you can't necessarily see where you fixed it. So by having the overhead, just makes it a little bit easier. And it kind of is like a little map and a big map. So, yeah, so desks come along, and I might do another test maybe Saturday. Won't do one on Sunday because I'm going in for a bit of overtime, but maybe next Monday. So guys, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate your assistance, and I'll just finish off these chats. Night, happy birthday for later, and cheers pennies. Happy birthday. Have a nice day. I'm looking forward to my £2.99 breakfast tomorrow and my car being cleaned. So take care, guys. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye.